Hello, this is Maiku with Starseed Tarot and Readings, and I am back with another pick a card reading. I know that it's been a while since I've done a pick a card reading, and the reason is that for a while I was actually doing live readings on Facebook. But then once the pandemic came around, I found myself becoming overwhelmed with everything that has been going on socially, culturally, politically, and of course spiritually. Even with my live readings, I realized I needed to take a break and refocus my attention on how I could still do the work. So here I am returning to the format that I started with, which is pick a card self-guided readings. I wanted to return to this because I felt like I had completely neglected how I started. Pick a card readings offered me an opportunity to set intentions, keep a clear mind, and also set spiritual and emotional boundaries. Live readings were more unexpected and did not allow me time to gather the message intended for the viewers or followers asking for quick readings. Also, I feel that I gave clear readings when I am not rushed to trying to move on to the next person. And additionally, my live readings would get crashed by other readers or non-supporters, creating a semi-hostile environment. So I made the decision to return to these readings and just keep with it. And this was a huge lesson learned. So for today's reading, I felt that the common theme for today's pick a card reading would include the following: self-check-ins, spiritual check-ins, some questions that you may be asking, or some questions that I was pulling through was, what do I need now that the battle or war is over? Another question is, what work needs to be continued? And this is kind of a semi-follow-up to everything that has been happening this year. So after all the battles and wars on the collective, governmental, cultural, personal, familial level, or whatever battles you have been fighting this year, what work do you need to do now that you've won the battles you have overcome this year? This is especially true for many of us as we are exiting Scorpio season. And Scorpio season brings to the surface issues that have been swept under the rug in order to deal with priority, urgent, or emergency problems you have needed to tend to. It's kind of like we have been on survival mode, if not all year round, at least on and off throughout the year. Scorpio season forces us to be comfortable with our shadow side and those yucky emotions that we hate to feel. Rather it be grief, if you hate seeing loved ones leave, for example, in death, ending of a relationship, or leaving a relationship, or that be envy in wishing others misfortune, wishing badly on others, and so on. Scorpio season also teaches us to love ourselves again in light and darkness, that the things you face in the dark can also be what teaches you how to love yourself right, that the tough emotions you experience can also be nurtured and sent to light to be healed. It's kind of cliche, but you cannot have light without darkness, right? I like to think of light and darkness as a platonic / divorce marriage child rearing dynamic. You being the child and the light and dark teaching you how to navigate your life's journey. One parent is not better than the other, but it takes two, or in some cases, a whole village to raise a child, and the village being the experiences you endure. How Scorpio's lessons make sense in this reading? It brings messages of what needs tending to right now, since I've overcome and won battles. Overcoming and winning is not necessarily meaning everything is done and nothing else needs to be done, but more so, okay, how can we keep this ball rolling, right? When I was thinking about this reading, I thought about the scene from Game of Thrones where Jon Snow wins the Battle of the Bastards, but he knows there's still a lot of things that need to be done to ensure that peace can return to the kingdom. Not only physical, but spiritual / magical, right? He knows that there is still a lot of quote-unquote danger looming in the darkness that, if it's not tended to, can completely take over humanity, which we all know is what took place with the pandemic. And so for some of us, having to experience the pandemic, it was pretty preventable, but why wasn't it, right? So to get back onto what I was saying, the scene is just a metaphor for the point I'm trying to make. But even though the battle is won, does not mean we can continue to live a happily ever after ending. We are constantly making decisions based on the pursuit of happiness. But then again, if we are always chasing happiness, how do we know that we are truly happy? These are just some of the things that I picked up on when thinking about what reading I wanted to do. And now that I've shared some of the overall messages coming through, we can begin with a pick a card reading. From the left pile, this is pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. Before you decide on the pile, you may pause the video and ask from your spirit guides, master guides, ancestors, ascended masters, archangels, or Starseed Collective for guidance to help you choose the pile with a message that is intended for you to hear. If you're being called to select more than one pile, you may do so. Once you have selected your pile, you can go to the description box down below and click on the timestamp next to the pile number. Without further ado, thank you for making it this far into the intro. I will see you in your pile reading. Hello, for those who picked pile number 1, this is your reading, and your spirit card is Strength, and it reads, Strength comes from many sources. Staying strong brings confidence, conviction, and a balanced body, mind, and soul. Spirit has its own unique and beautiful way of replenishing your soul with strength on a continual basis. You're never really alone, as you're always with you. We're always with you. And so when we think about this card and strength, we think about the physical, right? And having to push yourself to the limit. Having to use all your energy up in order to continue doing the work. But in a very backwards way of thinking, it doesn't necessarily have to mean brute force or using up everything you have left. Strength also comes in the form of being able to step away from something, knowing when you are at your limit and being able to honor that feeling, honor that emotion, and honor that which is telling you your body needs to rest, or your soul or your mind needs to rest. Strength in that form is in a way teaching you how to stand up for yourself and listen to your needs. You may have been in a situation when you were not offered that opportunity to hone in on the need to tend to yourself. So in a way, you've been ignoring the things that you've needed because you felt like you have to honor someone else's needs before your own. And the card comes up to show you that strength does not have to be that you show you are physically capable, but that strength lies in being able to step away from the environment that is draining you so that you can hold a space for yourself to heal. Holding your own space is just as important, and when you're able to do this, you'll also be able to reflect on how you can do that for yourself. For example, if you can't even do that for yourself, how can you do that for others, right? How can you come to the aid of others if you're not spiritually, physically, or emotionally together? That's why people tell you to step away and have a clear mind before you step back in, or have the clear mind to come back and do the work that you need to do. How does this relate to the initial message in the intro that, again, this year you've just been in the headspace of running on empty and using up your physical and emotional strength on holding space for others to heal? And while that is very true, it shows who you are. You are a very generous person, that you have always been so from a place of kindness, compassion, that you also have to take a step back from that and know how to heal yourself. Because then, in the spiritual sense, whatever is latched onto you when you're spiritually drained will also transfer to those who are helping you, who you are helping. The strength, the message of strength that comes through in this card is to be able to honor yourself and hold space for yourself to be more resilient And you don't have to perform resiliency by pretending to ignore your own personal needs. You have to be able to do that work too. So how do you show yourself that you are resilient? And one of those ways is to step back and ask yourself, no, I really need this. People will also appreciate that more. It'll also show people that you are helping to heal. The people that you're helping to heal, it'll show them how to honor space for themselves. Because if they look up to you and they admire the work that you are doing and they are aspiring to be as strong as you are, they see that you're constantly giving yourself into them, it'll seem okay. But you wouldn't want them to do that. You wouldn't want them to completely deplete themselves of the energy and the strength. So not being able to step back and heal and whatever kind of peace that you need to host for yourself, it's going to show them that, oh, well, I can ignore my own needs to help others. If you don't see that part of you, then they don't know how to do that either, right? If you're not able to tell yourself like, no, this is what I need and I'm going to step back from it, then they won't know how to do that either. So for you, yes, you can be strong and also step away from things that at the forefront or on the surface, it may seem like you're backing down because you can't do it. It would seem like that, but how do you honor that, right? It's, admitting like, I can't do this. Then honoring that emotion too. And, thinking, no, I can't do that right now. I have to do this for myself. And that's completely fine. Some people will even respect you more when you're able to do that, when you're able to communicate your own needs rather than constantly seeming like you can give and give and give. It also makes it seem almost like you're non-human, like you have an ungodly level of generosity, which us being humans, we're still humans. It's something we just cannot absolutely do, right? We're still capable of feeling all these complex emotions that if somebody does something and it irks you, you're still going to feel it. You may be able to process it and move on, but you're still capable of feeling it. And for some of us, if we're constantly being bombarded with passive-aggressive things or outright hate, there's only so much that you can handle. So you need to secure that foundation for healing for yourself. And being able to do that is also a form of strength. You'll also find that in this process, it's more empowering to check in with yourself because we're talking about a spiritual check-in and what you need to do in this reading, that once you figure out, oh, this is how I can heal myself without being dependent on others, it becomes so much more empowering. Also, the concept of living happily ever after is kind of like a myth because, again, we are human. This happily ever after type of ending is only in fairy tales and in the sense of fiction and not completely true in this current timeline that we're in. It's just not feasible, right? For you, living happily ever after, and I talked about the pursuit of happiness, it's just not realistic. It doesn't mean that you have to be super depressed and sad all the time, but to have that high expectation of having to live comfortably all the time and live happily all the time, it's just draining in itself too. So when you are hit in the face with this emotion of grief or sadness or anger, how do you sit comfortably with it and process it so that you're not easily triggered in future situations? All right, so these are your tarot cards. The first is the Page of Wands. The second is the Lovers. The third is the Queen of Pentacles. And fourth is the Ace of Wands. In your spirit message, we talked about strength and how this connects to your tarot readings, is that this could be about recently leaving a relationship, platonic or friendship or familial, and it seems that you've maxed out on giving as much as you can into this relationship, having to ultimately leave it in order to do what is best for you and that person. And while this was compatible, there were things that the both of you have needed to work on. And this relationship was meant to reveal those things to you together. So for you, this is meant to be your path. In connection to the spirit card too, it being an orange card, the chakra in need of healing is the solar plexus and the sacral. And there's a lot of fiery energy either propelling the need to move forward, or this person or you having a fire zodiac, or even propelling this action to take place. And I say that because we are talking about the Page of Wands, which is connected to the fire energy. The Lover's card for me is confirmation that yes, this is about a relationship, intimacy, this being your fate and the reason this person has been brought into your life. And the reason is that this person was brought into your life to bring awareness to the issues that you haven't fully addressed, and vice versa. And so if you haven't made this decision yet, the Page of Wands is sending you this message that if this is what you have been hungering on, take this as a message that yes, if you're thinking about whatever it is that you're going to decide on, then yes. Especially because it is the Page of Wands, Wands embodying fire energy, putting whatever it is in your mind to action, and confirmation of this comes through with the Queen of Pentacles. Pentacles connected to earth energy, abundance, creativity, creation, fruitfulness. You may have been lacking this while in this relationship, these areas of yourself being constrained while in this relationship. When you think you've tried your best and you feel like you still need to keep this relationship alive, you can't bring back to life something that is deteriorating at a rapid rate. And it's okay to honor your healing and not feel like you have to tend to the healing of that person or to others. The page itself represents the messenger, the student, learning from this experience, but also delivering your message of confirmation, showing you signs that all is true. The fact that the Strength card comes up in solar plexus and sacral color indicates healing in the sexual, creative, grounding energies. So for you, having to pay attention to replenishing these. You may have been depleted of these energies and needing to reignite this aspect of your being. And the Strength card again reveals that's why you've been feeling depleted. Like this year was the year to move forward or move on. And this isn't something that was a waste of your energy either. It was meant to happen. And I will talk more about this with the Ace of Wands. The last card, Ace of Wands, indicating a new chapter. The Ace of Wands says that yes, this is a new chapter, but to take it on with the feeling that yes, I did learn and grow from this. It has helped me to learn more about myself and know how resilient I am to persevere through the challenges of being in a relationship. You learn more about yourself in that. You know what you need to help you heal because you know just how much you need to heal. And if this relationship was not helping and doing more harm than helping, then this is confirmation that walking away is the only answer. And the salamander on the Ace cards is also telling me to tell you that, like the salamander, you are ever evolving being. Not the same as you were from the beginning of the year. This whole year in itself has been about growing at a rapid rate, like super rapid. Salamanders and amphibians, evolutionary or biological DNA clock timeline, however you call it, it's speedier and quicker than humans. And any change in their behavior or their environment will shift their DNA. That's a known fact because we can see it in amphibians or frogs or even the natural kingdom itself, and the things that we learn from either watching, nature shows or in research. So what you need to see right now is that the ending of this relationship has helped you to grow so much more quicker than you have in the past 5 years. And being able to see yourself grow in such a short amount of time should be something that you are proud of. And this comes through in the reading of the Strength card as well as the Queen of Pentacles, that your resilience and ability to thrive on your own is confirmation of that. The Page of Wands also revealing that this is the path that you have to take on your own and no one else, because it will teach you how to honor your own struggles by providing you space to reflect, take in, and heal. Even if you are dealing with it right now or you are still in the fog of recouping from this severance. So for pile number 1, this is all I have for you. I hope that it resonated with some of you. If it did not, you are more than welcome to select another pile, or you can take what resonates and leave the rest. If you have not, please follow or subscribe to me on all social media platforms listed below. Thank you for clicking on this reading, and I will see you in the next video. Hello to those who picked pile number 2. This is your reading. Your spirit card message is Serenity, and it reads, the most important relationship you can have is with yourself. This is time to honor, nurture, and love yourself more by seeking out and removing any negative emotions or feelings that are left over from yesterday. Don't let past issues and resentment interfere with your serenity today. Alright, so the overall and most simple way to interpret this message is, don't let the wrongdoing of others or the judgment of others mess with your peace. To simply put it, throughout the year or years, you have been working really hard on not allowing this to happen. And Scorpio season is testing you. Essentially saying, you said you worked on this, well, let me try you. And it's like the final exam at the end of the year, except spiritual exam. I am also getting the sense that you could be a water sign and maybe even a Scorpio, or have a strong Scorpio in your chart. You may be someone who is also easily affected by your environment, or who is in your environment. For you, the work that needs to be done is that you continue to refine the gift of not reacting to the wrongdoings done by others, not trying to correct their mistakes or the lies told by them. Essentially, if people have already decided that you are not for them, it is not your responsibility to change their mind. Whether you are committed to proving them wrong or to challenge them, it's not your responsibility. Another message coming through is pick and choose your battle. Something I learned a few months ago is also emotional labor, right? Thinking about what is worth your emotional labor when responding to those who are committed to not trying to understand you. And serenity teaches you that you don't have to disrupt your peace or your higher self, your true self, to correct those who have decided that you are not for them. One way to understand this is, if you are working this hard to correct someone who is not going to give you the time of day, then maybe you have to come to terms with the fact that they may not be among the people who you'd like to associate yourself with as well, right? For example, you aren't for them and they aren't for you. And what is most important for you to know is to let those endings end indefinitely. Do not invite it back in. Do not provoke it. Just let it be. I kind of feel like you struggle with this a lot this year too. Not allowing people to get to you, and also stepping away from this feeling to see the bigger picture. You may have even seen glimpses of this, but is still working on grasping this. I feel that this is the thing that will help propel you into the end of the year and onto next year. And in a way, like, you should be proud of yourself for how far you've come, even though there are times that you will be triggered to respond the way that your old self would respond. Forgive yourself and take it as another learning opportunity to improve how you can prevent yourself from responding versus reacting, right? Another thing or way to look at this is, because of the pandemic too, social gatherings have been very limited. So the only social interaction that you may have with these people who you're constantly butting heads with is also helping you to learn more about areas of growth that need tending to in terms of your spiritual, emotional, ego selves. And if you haven't learned your lesson, trust me, it will keep coming until you have learned it. The message in this reading may even just be like a little nudge for you. Like that could be the attitude that you have. It's like, well, I already know this, and you're going to probably push it aside, and then next thing you know, it's going to pop up again. So what is it that you would still need to learn on or work on as we wrap up this chaotic year is learning how to honor your peace. Don't let the chaos of others disrupt your peace. Develop the courage to be still, even in the midst of a storm. All right, so on to your tarot cards. And the first card is the Hanged Man. And the second card is the Page of Swords. The third card is the Ten of Swords. And the fourth card is the Five of Cups. And some messages that are coming through right away, again, being comfortable with your current environment or state of mind, that just because sometimes you get triggered, do not punish yourself for it. Also, honor the fact that you are growing and learning. That's not to say that when you get mad, make an excuse that it's okay. It's okay that you reacted that way, but acknowledge that it's not okay that you reacted that way and do better, right? It's like, okay, I am an evolving human being. Let me take this opportunity, this mistake that I did, holding yourself accountable. Another message coming through is confirmation that this is in fact about mind games or passive aggressiveness from others. With the Page of Swords, a message of confirmation to pick and choose your battles. And would you rather pour energy into a 1 versus 3 debate, or would you rather step away from it? And it brings me back to this as well. If you see that you're not going to be in a safe space, reveal whatever it is that you want to challenge. Choose whether it is worth investing your emotional labor into. And so revealing that and making your decision there, it's like, okay, do I really want to do this right now, right? If there are kids around, right, and maybe it's a family member, would you rather do this right now in front of kids, or do this right now in front of somebody important to you? That's one way to see it. I'm also getting that this may have been something you have been dealing with all year round, and while my intro stated that there are battles that you have won, you personally feel that there are more battles that still need to be fought, which is true, but for you see everything as a battle to fight for, and you have every right to feel so. However, it gets draining, and this is confirmed with the Ten of Swords. Not so much physical, but you're exhausted, your mental effort being fixated on challenging everything and the smallest things you can identify. So then the other message coming through is make sure that if you have the energy to speak up or to speak for you or for someone else, ensure that you are in a safe space. Ensure that you have the emotional capacity to handle what is going to be thrown at you and how you are going to be going about diffusing that, right? It doesn't mean that to keep your peace, don't speak up. If you feel the need to speak up, then do it, right? But also remember that there are going to be it's almost like you know that by doing this, it's gonna ruffle a lot of feathers, and you will be feeling the full impact from that, right? So ensure that, okay, these are the steps that I can take if I should be feeling the blunt force from the opposing side, right? So in your spirit message card reading too, I also talked about how you are very sensitive to your environment. Think this not as a disadvantage, but you may be someone who can gauge the mood of the room. And with the final card, it confirms that what I had mentioned earlier, which is the Five of Cups. Sometimes you can't take everyone with you if they are not willing to see things through your eyes or your way. Again, maybe they have already decided that they're not going to agree with you, right? And so if it is completely impossible to get through to someone, then it could be best to walk away, let it be, right? With this Five of Cups, I get the feeling that your investment into understanding why this particular person just is the way that they are with you has taken more than what you have given. And the Ten of Cups, or the Ten of Swords, confirms that. It confirms like a hard battle lost or defeated. It's not that you lost to them, but if you keep feeling drained every time you have an interaction with this person, it means that it's not serving you, right? Your whole body, your physical self is telling you, like, yeah, maybe you should take a break from this. You don't have to see it as a loss. Just see it as it is not serving you, as it is confirmed again with the Five of Cups. The Suit of Cups also is about emotions revealing. In this card, you have only a little bit left for yourself, and so much you have given that person who had already been sinking, right? You see the person sinking in the river, and the five being an indication that, well, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. This is it. It is going to be a hard struggle, but trust the message that it will get better. This is what Scorpio season reveals to us, that it is better to leave things as it is, accepting that people will be the way they are. But you can change your outlook on life despite the presence of certain people who you at some point had committed to changing their hearts. So for pile number 2, this is all that I have for you. I hope that this message resonated with you. If not, take what resonates and leave what does not. Do not forget to like this video, follow or subscribe to my social media platforms in the description box below, and I will see you in the next video. Hello to those who picked pile number 3. This is your reading, and your spirit card is Study. Spirit has its own special way of letting you know that it's time to study again. From time to time, it's important to go back and learn, whether that's learning old things in a new way or learning something totally new. This is an opportunity to expand your mind. So the spirit message is confirmation that while we have come out victoriously, it doesn't mean that the work ends. There is still so much that needs to be done, and I mean, you can still celebrate your achievements, that there is movement in the collective atmosphere for justice, but it doesn't mean it all ends here. The message of study tells us that we can also use what we have learned, our victories and mistakes, to propel us forward, to continue making change. In a way, we cannot be content with what is now. Be open to what is in store for you in the future. Be an open book. Be open to receiving. Be open to successes and failures. And being able to do this allows you more room to expand your knowledge on the healing that needs to take place. I feel that throughout the year you may have been dealing with feelings of, why isn't this done yet? Why not now? Why do I have to wait? Or why does this keep happening? And so mainly a lot of feelings of uncertainty. And while some of your questions may have been answered in recent events, that it does not mean that your inquiry should end. Your inquiry on how you can continue to contribute. I'm also sensing themes of loyalty as well. How are you staying true to the path that you have chosen or decided on? And it doesn't mean you pick a side or you pick an allegiance. In the end, it could be about picking what is morally right. What do you feel is morally right to do? Who's to say that anyone deserves more than the other? And for you, recent events or what you have been dealing with this year is teaching you how to unlearn and relearn. I feel that you may just be starting a new level of awakening or awareness to issues that you were once ignorant to. And I say a new level of awakening because I feel that for many people, they awaken in stages. And so this might be like a new level for you. So even just learning something new that has caused a feeling of devastation or helplessness, it's becoming more apparent to you now. In recent cases of victory for you, it shows that with hard work, staying on the path is fruitful. It is worth it if you have done all that you can in a righteous way that has not taken from others in order for you to fulfill your victory. So for your tarot cards, the first card is the Six of Wands, and it is confirmation of victory or a celebration. Other things that are coming through is charity, championing for others. And the next card is Ten of Wands, indicating the battle is over, feeling like the fight or conflict is over, a sense of relief, confirmation of a sense of relief, that whatever struggle you've been dealing with is finally over. The 10 in itself is an indication of the closing of a chapter, whereas the Six of Wands depicts a scene right after a battle. So, a celebration. And the next card is the Justice. Again, confirmation that I was mentioning with the study card. As you can see, the right has been righted. I know that's not a word, but that's kind of the message that's coming through. And for many of us, we keep wondering, why aren't these people being held accountable? And justice comes out to say, yes, now more so than ever, we know what upholding justice as a collective looks like by eliminating or assigning power to the people or the oppressors. It's like, yes, we can do this, but we have to do this together. Whether this message is intended for you to listen to as it relates to the collective, or whether it applies to you on a personal level, I am getting the sense that for some of you, you expected that 2020 was going to be that year, that all good things were going to come. However, that was not the case. Whether it be starting your business, starting a new relationship, ending the old, starting the new, you may have expected that 2020 was going to be the year that changed your stream of luck. But in a sense it did, right? For you, Scorpio season is bringing to the surface moments of struggle to help you reflect on how you survived these circumstances. And to you, you're seeing, or the message that's coming through, is that little by little you did persevere and you did thrive in these harsh conditions, right? Harsh conditions in terms of political, emotional, mental, and spiritual. In due time, what was right was going to be righted. And so you are seeing this manifest, especially because the Justice card appears in your readings. It seems that in due time the truth will come out, and you have seen this manifest on the collective level. It's almost like you can see the rainbow and silver lining. However, it does not mean that a storm isn't brewing. How do you prepare yourself to become more knowledgeable about handling a situation like this again? How do you equip yourself with the emotional and intelligence, self-care, and knowledge to begin this process of fighting for your morals, righteousness, and justice? Something that I want to insert as well is compassion, and this comes through with the Three of Swords. You see that the heart is bandaged and wounded. However, it carries with it 3 swords. As I mentioned, the swords is indication of strategy, and I can't help but think of the idea that you learn from the experiences that have left you wounded and scarred, refining your strategy to thrive and to continue to survive and help others survive. The Three of Swords for me is also about heartbreak, not just the relationship heartbreak, but the countless letdowns that you have experienced this year. And I feel like these letdowns bring to the surface the reality of how deep these issues lie beneath the surface and how deep it runs. So for pile number 3, this is all that I have for you, and I hope it resonated with some of you. And if it did not, you are more than welcome to select another pile, or you can take what resonates and leave the rest. If you have not, please follow or subscribe on all my social media platforms listed down below. Thank you so much for clicking on this reading, and I will see you in the next video. Hello to those who picked pile number 4. This is your reading, and your spirit message card is Be Proud. It reads, it is time to celebrate all that you've achieved, all that you are, and all that you will become. Every once in a while, it's important to stop and acknowledge what you've achieved and to be proud. So the message in this card that's coming through is very straightforward. And I feel that for you, 2020 has constantly left you guessing, is this going to happen? It is almost like the fear that it will take, that it will be taken away, whatever it is that you've accomplished, or that it's too good to be true and it can't be yours. So kind of like a doppelganger effect. In addition to the immense amount of feelings of uncertainty that many have been experiencing, added to that, this is healing that predates 2020. So for you, it is amplified this year. And your spirit card message is telling you it's okay to be proud of what you have accomplished, especially after all that you have endured this year. Some things that are also coming through is fear that something worse is yet to come, or that something is going to be taken away. These fears become blockages that don't allow you to live in the present. This may come as validation for you that maybe you were not provided this as a child, so healing from your childhood or a trauma that stems way back from before your adulthood. I am also getting heart chakra healing. When the heart needs healing, it tends to connect with needing unconditional love, or that that was not present. So a sense of instability in being loved the way that you're supposed to, or how you feel you need to be loved. When the heart needs healing, traumas or triggers such as feeling like you're not enough come up as well. So to take this moment to heal your heart by pausing your day and giving gratitude for all the things around you and how far you've come. If not for what is in your home, then to the organic and natural things that take place. Think about what it is that naturally occurs, such as the budding love for your children and having gratitude for all the moments you get to experience their growth. Loving them unconditionally and knowing that they will love in return unconditionally. So coming through is nurture. Nurture these organic emotions or spiritual occurrences you get to experience with your loved ones, both living and spiritually guiding you. And your tarot cards reveals a message that confirms this. With the Three of Wands, it seems that you keep asking for a sign or a message that you are unable to see this or hear this. The second card, Nine of Pentacles, reveals a message of you made it this far. It is not yet time to harvest the fruits of your labor, but take this time to appreciate the fact that the plants you have planted have now flowered and are bearing fruit. However, if you pick the fruits as they are becoming engorged and not allowing them to ripe, you may be too hasty to experience the results. The third card, the Nine of Swords, reveals that these struggles are very deep set. Even in your dreams, or they come up in a way that immobilizes you or causes physical distress. And throughout the year, you have been dealing with this. It seems too that now is also a time for you to embrace the hard work it takes to overcome these battles you have had with your personal demons or traumas you have endured. So this is confirmation that you did win those battles victoriously, and it's okay to celebrate or be proud. It's the small victories that also count, or most importantly, count for you right now. The last card reveals a message of confirmation that even in the midst of uncertainty, now know how to get out of what you are feeling. That even if it is out of your control, the least you can do to alleviate more stress is to find what it is to make it a little easier to deal with these battles and issues. One way that I think about this is you can either see the battles as big battles and small victories, or big victories and small battles. Which would you rather choose? If it's going out to get a nice cup of coffee to make your day better, then do it. For my pile number 4s, Be proud of how far you have come, even if all you can revel in is the tiny successes and victories. By all means, enjoy it. And remember, you can either see this as big battles and small victories, or big victories and small battles. So, for my pile number 4, this is all that I have for you. I hope that it resonated with some of you. If it did not, you are more than welcome to select another pile, or you can take what resonates and leave the rest. If you have not, please follow or subscribe to me on all social media platforms listed below. Thank you for clicking on this reading, and I will see you in the next video.